Here it is, my review on one of my most favorite series in video game history, Monster Hunter. World to be specific, the most recent entry in the series. As it was awesome August, and I'm sorry for the late video, I wanted to go over one of the game series that has existed through most of my childhood. It all started in 7th grade with the first game, when I had seen a demo version of the game in a Hollywood video, or a Game Crazy to be exact. And now 15 years later, the series is still going strong, and more popular than ever. And the best part is there hasn't been a bad game in the series to this day. Capcom has done a great job so far. So here's to more games in the future, and hopefully me and my friends can keep playing for years to come. And without further ado, I hope you enjoy this Monster Hunter World review. Now, usually with most Monster Hunter games, I would say the story isn't too important, but in this game, I can still say the same thing. You are a hunter. You've come to a land in need of assistance with a specific monster, and though you are new, you rise through the ranks quickly, defeating everything in your path, and eventually become the hero of the land. Again, really no different this time around, but, and a big but, this time it feels more in depth. Now with full voice acting, cutscenes including other NPCs and your character interacting with the world around you. Which isn't new per se, as it was introduced in Monster Hunter 4, another great game in the series, but done even better this time around. You are an A-lister, and part of the 5th Fleet. While on your way to meet your handler, who is in charge of making sure you get quests, which we find out later she doesn't have to do, but we will get into that. The ship gets picked up by a large creature, causing everyone to evacuate. Now usually it's the flagship monster that's the problem, but this time it's the elder dragon named Zora Magdaros. That's the main star of the story at first. Which then, like other titles, leads to, and spoilers if you care about that stuff, a not always bigger but badder monster. Now these elder dragons, or as I just call them, elders, because not all of them are dragons, are rare monsters that are capable of great power and sometimes even catastrophic destruction. You will track Zora Magdaros down and find out if the fleet needs to get rid of it or not. It's a great story for a Monster Hunter game, but I must admit there are a few times where I felt the story dragged on and on, a little too long. But I don't see it as a factual grievance, but rather a personal one. Either way, the story is not boring and it's full of great characters, except you. Here's the bread and butter of the game. The big ol' monsters you must defeat in order to get stronger gear, and proceed to beat even stronger and or bigger monsters, as most grind games are. These monsters are mostly comprised of large reptiles and mythical creatures, but as the series has progressed, there has been more variety in the bestiary department. After slaying a monster, you can carve them for items in order to make new gear, but to defeat these creatures, you must use a large variety of weapons, from giant Final Fantasy looking swords to old school large gunpowder cannons known as heavy bowguns. There are 12 other weapon types to choose from, a total of 14, that each make the game feel very different with their own unique movesets. Who knows? After killing 100 monsters with a specific weapon, you might want to switch it up. Or, if you feel comfortable using a certain weapon against a specific monster, it can really help to have a variety in order to make different strategies. With those strategies comes the customization of armor sets, skills, charms, and augments, which, don't worry, they won't come all at once, but as the game gets further in, will gradually topple on different mechanics. You can also, like true hunter fashion, bring equipment items like traps, bombs, and food. Speaking of food, there's a cantina run by the muscular chef who can boost you a bit before a quest. Gotta get those gains, man. Which, like said before, is given to you by the handler. Each quest can vary from gathering items in the field to slaying and or capturing a monster. The game allows you to hunt with another 3 players for a total of 4 hunters beating up a monster. But don't worry, sometimes a monster still wins. For the first time, the offline quest/story is merged with the online quest, so your friends can help you through the story of the game for those of you who want to play the entire game with friends. When you get down to it, this game is a grindy hack-and-slash boss fighter. It will take time to play, but it's very worth it for the experience and fun. The graphics are the best they've ever been, and make the monsters feel more real. There's not much to say except that I'm glad they've abandoned a lot of the bright colors the mobile games had adopted. With this new, less saturated palette, it takes me back to Monster Hunter 1, where it felt very serious, and the world building was great, instead of this goofy, mythical world. Though one of my only gripes with the art design would be the weapon designs. A lot of the late game weapons are very lackluster. Most of them don't even represent the monsters they're supposed to be made out of. Hopefully with the new expansion they've taken this criticism and have improved on it. But speaking of expansions, this game does have an up and coming expansion that will be out tomorrow, packed with a ton of content. If I've ever convinced anybody to play a game before, I really want to do so now because this expansion is amazing, and I recommend checking it out. The sound of this game is phenomenal, and the sound effect artist, and I apologize if I butcher this name, Wakana Kurawa, has a video on how she is creating the sound effects for the new expansion and demonstrates what lengths she goes to creating amazing sounds for the game. I will link this in the description below. But the base game is no different. As much as I enjoy the original sounds of the past Monster Hunter games, I do not mind the new sounds at all. I can't really say the same for the music though. It's not that the music's bad. The music's great and you can tell I had great love put into it. But unfortunately, we can't see this as its own music coming from a long series, and to me, it just doesn't hold up to the other tracks that came before it. Most of the themes for each stage seem to blend together for me, and don't stick too much in my head. But the ones that do stick out are tracks that were just remade for the game, that belong to the previous monsters in the game. As an audiophile for video games, this is very disappointing. If I could mod the game to include older tracks, I would in a heartbeat. But by the way, Nergigante's track will probably be the best one out of all of them. Now, before I wrap this up, I must mention one thing. This thing. This horrid excuse for a handler has got to be the worst part of the game. Of course, in my opinion. But I must say factually, her constant airheadedness and lack of consideration for others when it comes to endangering herself gets on my nerves. She always says we are a team, and yet does nothing to help you out. You're always saving her constantly throughout the game, and she just doesn't feel like a good character. But she unfortunately is pretty much your voice, and there is nothing you can do about it. Except turn the voice down in the options. Peace and quiet.
Hey, partner!
Shut your fucking mouth!
We're on the hunt!
Shut the fuck up, you cunt!
Never give up!
Shut it!
So that's pretty much it. Yeah, there's a lot more to this game, mostly good. This game definitely gets a high rating for taking care of a lot of the issues that entries in the past have struggled with. This is a great time to get into the series, and I recommend trying this out today. I gave Monster Hunter World, without any bias of a doubt, a 9 out of 10. Almost perfect. Now if they could just add the Rajang to the game, then... 10 out of 10, IGN, pre-order now, just do it, just get the game. Hey guys, it's Michael. I just wanted to say thank you for watching this review, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. It took me off a long time again, as usual, but I enjoyed doing this very much. I hope to see you guys next time, and I hope you guys enjoy Monster Hunter World just like I do. Take care. Bye.